I'd like to call this meeting to order, please, for the special meeting of the Board of Trustees. Could I have a roll call, please?
Hussein Berry here. Fadwa Hamoud. Mary Lane.
Here.
Oh, just in time.
Perfect
Celia Nasser.
Here.
Mary Petrikoff.
Here.
James Thorpe.
Here.
President Meade.
Here.
Okay. Second item.
No, we're going to have a little rendition here of the Maples drummers. Maple School drummers, are they here? Okay.
I'm the new director of the Maples Arabic Drumming, which was started after 9/11 as a response to build bridges from the former teacher, Mrs. Kathy Prowse. Very happy to be here, and this is our Maples Arabic Drumming group. Our first piece is called the Omar. It was written by a former student. Many times students write their own pieces, and this one was a challenge for us, but we'd like to show you the Omar. Our second piece, and last, is called Diggity. Diggity was a little dog, and his name was Diggity Diggity Dog. So listen for that little rhythm about Diggity, who was a wonderful little dachshund named Diggity, and this piece was written in his honor. So please listen to Diggity Dog.
Next item, please.
Discussion. The purpose of the special meeting is to hear an exit report from the accreditation team from AdvancED.
We'll introduce Dr. Quintana in this group. I'll let you go ahead and take it away. I just want to mention first that really appreciate the time that was put in over the last 3 days. I appreciate everyone that was here, part of the team, the Board of Education, students, parents. Thank you for being part of this. And then, of course, under the leadership of Ms. Farage and Ms. Hilda Randy, thank you so much. I know a lot of time was put in. But again, you'll see this is really about community, and the school district is ingrained in the community, so it's very important. So we appreciate all the time, and I know that a lot of you had tough travels over the weekend, so I was glad that we got the opportunity on Sunday to have some dinner together and just socialize. So really appreciate the work that was done over the last. I know you guys work until like all hours of the night as well, is what I hear, so I know it's very intensive. So thank you. I'll turn it over to you, Dr. Quintana.
Very good. Thank you, Dr. Maleko. School board members, community, welcome to the oral exit report for Dearborn Public Schools. My name is Mark Quintana, and I've had the privilege of being the lead evaluator of this very distinguished team. Please allow me the privilege to introduce to you the members of the team as well as our qualifications, so you know what we have brought to Dearborn Public Schools over the past several days. I myself have 23 years of overall experience in professional education. I come from the Fort Lauderdale, Florida area, where I started as a classroom teacher and worked my way into district level administration to the ranks of being a chief of staff of curriculum for the Broward County Public School District, the nation's 6th largest school district with 230 schools, and also having taken over the Office of School Improvement, which included the district's accreditation as well as the academic compliance components to No Child Left Behind. I have been an adjunct professor as well for 19 years from the undergraduate level through the doctorate level. And I have been doing accreditation visits since 2007. Our team's associate lead evaluator is Melissa Kazmarek. Melissa has 29 years in public education. She was an elementary and middle school classroom teacher for reading, English language arts, and science. She has been a literacy specialist, staff development specialist in curriculum and professional learning, and she has been involved in accreditation for 6 years. She currently works in Michigan's AdvancED office as a school quality specialist. Anthony Childs. Anthony's been in public education for 13 years. He is currently an assistant principal in Burke County, Georgia. He is a former administrator in McDuffie County. He's a former band director. He also has been a lead evaluator for AdvancED for individual school accreditation visits, and is also a national Swiss facilitator for positive behavior intervention and supports. Anthony has been involved in accreditation for 9 years. I also want to let you know, just in the case that Anthony does depart the table a little bit early, he was notified that his flight back to Georgia was moved up in time, so he may need to depart before our time is done here today. Our next team member is Megan Fucciarelli. Megan has also been an associate lead evaluator for system school district visits for AdvancED, and she has been a lead evaluator for individual school accreditation visits. She has been in public education for 20 years. She is currently the superintendent of the Macomb Academy here in Michigan. She has been a consultant for the National Coalition Bullying Institute and Teaching Tolerance Southern Poverty Law Center, as well as the International Institute of Restorative Practices. She's been the executive director and principal consultant for US Squared, which is a social justice educational equity company. She's been a teacher, a principal, an assistant principal, a reading specialist, an ESL director, as well as a teacher, K through 12 at the elementary levels and of Spanish. She has been involved in accreditation for 14 years. Katie O'Connell has been in public education for 11 years. She was an elementary school teacher and literacy coach, assistant principal, and is now a principal of an elementary school. Sally Petrick has been involved in public education for 14 years. She started as a teacher, was a science and mathematics. She also was a rehab engineer for special education programs, an administrator at the secondary level, and a process engineer, and is currently working on her dissertation in quality management in education. She has been involved in accreditation visits for 9 years. Taran Varner has been in public education for 2 years. He has been the Dean of Students and is the restorative coordinator of a school program. He is a 3-time published author, two of them being children's books. And Dia Wirtz has been in education for 14 years. She has taught from the Young 5 class through 5th grade. She's an instructional coach and a professional development facilitator for her school. Together, we have brought to you, representing AdvancED these past few days, cumulatively 126 years of educational experience for the purpose of reviewing your school district for the renewal of accreditation purposes. By design for AdvancED, 4 of us are from out of state, including the lead evaluator, and 4 of us are from within the state of Michigan, including the associate lead evaluator. The reason for that is that we have local Michigan expertise as well as national expertise from all across the country as part of reviewing and evaluating Dearborn Public Schools. So with that said, we should go to the next slide. As we're getting that moving, I'm going to tell you just a little bit about AdvancED. AdvancED is an international global organization servicing educational institution in the 50 United States, Puerto Rico, the Navajo Nation, 72 countries, and departments of defense around the world. As the largest educational community, we serve more than 20 million students, 3 million teachers, and 32,000 public and private institutions. AdvancED provides services to these educational institutions through its staff of 200 plus and more than 18,000 volunteers. AdvancED is the largest community of education professionals in the world. We are a nonprofit, nonpartisan organization that conducts rigorous on-site external reviews of pre-K through 12 schools and school systems to ensure that learners realize their full potential. Our goal isn't to certify the schools are good enough, rather our commitment is to help schools and school districts improve. Visits are often as the highlight. Highlight is the process that this school district goes through over a 5-year period for self-improvement. There are 3 domains that AdvancED has used that we have evaluated your school district on. They are the leadership capacity domain, the learning capacity domain, and the resource capacity domain. These are research-based initiatives and standards that AdvancED uses. Accreditation is pivotal to leveraging education quality and continuous improvement. Using a set of rigorous research-based standards, the accreditation process examines the whole institution, the program, the cultural context of the community of stakeholders to determine how well the parts work together to meet the needs of the learner. Through the AdvancED accreditation process, highly skilled and trained engagement review team members gather firsthand evidence and information pertinent to evaluating an institution's performance against the research-based AdvancED performance standards. Using these standards, the engagement review team assesses the quality of the learning environment to gain valuable insight and target improvements on teaching and learning. AdvancED standards that are tailored for all education providers so that the benefits of accreditation are universal across the education community. Through a comprehensive review of evidence and information, our experts gain a broad understanding of institution quality. Using the standards, the review team provides valuable feedback to institutions to help focus and guide each institution's improvement journey. Valuable evidence and information from other stakeholders, including students, also is obtained through interviews, surveys, and educational activities. Specific to your school district, we'd like to highlight the culture of this school district. The culture of this district reflects that of a diverse family that embraces inclusiveness. Examples of this include parent interviews, emphasizing what a safe environment they find their school to be in and how welcome they have come into Dearborn, especially when they've come from other areas and or other countries. There are caring staff members. Staff and student interviews overwhelmingly validated what parents were also saying, to include a very strong support system. The community for Dearborn Public Schools. This community is willingly and an engaged partner with the school district in order to shape the immediate and long-term strategic direction for the education and social and emotional well-being of the child. The community, through the interviews that we've had, both here at the district office as well as through being out at the schools, are very, very proud of their school district. They've shown that not only in their communication with us, but through their actions of having passed bonds in support of the school district over the past several years. They are additionally serving on lots of district committees and are welcome to do so. As you're seeing these pictures, you'll note that most all of them were taken over the past 3 days here in Dearborn schools. Some of you may recognize your friends and your peers, your families, and potentially yourself. Students are passionate about their education opportunities and believe in their unlimited potential. They are absolutely enjoying the variety of programs that are offered through Dearborn Public Schools, and they are honored to be a part of them. They were very, very willing to speak to us about their learning and the education that they are receiving here. The community of students in Dearborn Public Schools enjoys going to school, and that is half the battle to getting them to learn. Your school board. This pre-K to grade 14 school board is committed to the academic and social emotional growth of students, ensuring students are kindergarten ready and have the needed individual supports through elementary, middle, and high school and post-secondary in order to graduate college and career ready. Thank you. Okay. We've had an opportunity to meet with 6 of the 7 board members, and it was not a problem. Not a problem at all. Glad for you to be here today. But this school board collectively was very genuine in their commitment to children, not only from before kindergarten, through their schooling and beyond it for college and career readiness, and again, uniquely being a school board that handles student education beyond grade 12 to grade 14. The superintendent. This #superintendent is using all forms of communication, both traditional and innovative, to lead the district and best ensure to all stakeholders that they have avenues to receive and provide information specific to their children and the district as a whole. Some people are digital immigrants that continue to be learning to embrace technology. But in this district, they still get that communication through the more traditional robocalls that go out if they're not tied to social media as such. They continue to have the more traditional paper newsletter, but there's also the blog. The combination really works to assure that whatever the style to receive information that is desired by all stakeholders occurs. And I will be glad to tell you that as soon as this meeting is over and I get back to my office with my, where my cell phone is located, both Dearborn Public Schools and Dr. Glenn Maleko, you will have one more follower on Twitter.
I already retweeted your post. So it's already
I got the message, and I was just formally going to wait till our time here was over before before I reciprocate and follow, because I do want to continue to know, and I know I'll be getting the information both from you and from your district's Twitter account to be able to continue to learn the great news that's ongoing in Dearborn Public Schools. Your teachers. The teachers here have a strong, nurturing dedication to their students, school, community, and the profession. This was extremely evident. Even yesterday, as I particularly was at a middle school, and a couple of us were, and we went to, and school had ended, and the teachers were heading right to the basketball game. They support the students, they tend the extracurricular activities. There are a large cohort of teachers here who have longevity within the school district. They want to be nowhere else but to be an educator in Dearborn Public Schools. They are willing to tutor. They are willing to come in early to work with children. They are willing to stay late to work with children. They not only assist children with academic support, but likewise they have also, and there's clear evidence, that they have been supporting the children and their families as they have needed with supports just as far as everyday living. They embrace a growth mindset. They allow visitors without any issue coming into their classroom. They had no issue with unannounced visits from the school district within their classroom. They are participating in many leadership activities in the district, including serving on a plethora of committees that are available to them. The teachers are very, very proud to be educators here in Dearborn Public Schools. Closing the achievement gap. This district is implementing teaching and learning processes and strategies that are continuously reducing and sustaining the reductions of academic achievement gaps. It's purely coincidental that we're here this week when Bridge Magazine noted that Dearborn Public Schools was #1 among the large districts in Michigan where students started in 3rd grade at a 2nd grade level are getting to 8th grade at a 7.7 grade level. That is marked improvement, having been below grade level. You should celebrate that. At the same time, know that there is still work to be done. And I know that this district is committed to doing that. Even at the 8th grade level, the kids are almost caught up to being on level, which is wonderful. We've got a little additional work to do, but absolutely celebrate the wonderful achievements that you have made and know that we're on the right path and we just need to keep moving forward so that the children do return to being on grade level. Additionally, from being #1, when you start to include the small districts of the many, many districts in Michigan, Dearborn is in the top 20. The continuous process improvement. The district is implementing a proactive, quality-focused model with the continuous process improvement approach to enhance district performance. There are lots of high-quality programs that are going on within Dearborn Public Schools that align with this continuous process improvement. We'd like to just point out some samples that we took note of this week that included projects within building maintenance, communicating through blogs, one common goal, student learning, reading by 3rd grade, staffing, and substitute approval and recording processes. The school improvement process. The implementation of the school improvement process is aligned with national best practices for continuous improvement and is implemented in a culture of growth as opposed to evaluation. guiding schools with measurable and objective feedback in support of increasing academic achievement. I have worked with many school improvement offices across the country as part of accreditation and having been the head of a school improvement office myself. I will say that the school improvement office here in Dearborn, Michigan is clearly second to none. This has been one of the most organized accreditation visits. Even when I was asked by AdvancED to lead this visit last summer, I received guidelines and a calendar of checklists of when to do things, and before I could even reach out to Dearborn, they reached out to me. And so we immediately started in early August with our conversations and getting organized for this visit. Gave me a lot of confidence coming in, and once we arrived and got here and began the work, it continued just as professional and as organized as it has been since last August. Knowing the work was going on way before then, but just our collaboration together started at that point. In addition, the school improvement office here has been leading the district in a number of ways. The unannounced visits that tend to be a little surprising when we do those in districts was not here because you do them anyway. It's part of the culture and the practices that occur here in Dearborn. So the fact that we have unannounced visits as part of our process was nothing different from another day of work and let's do teaching and learning here in Dearborn. The rubric tool that has been created for local use here and that we have reviewed, it similarly focuses on student engagement that also includes student collaboration, as well as the use of technology and the classroom and differentiated instruction. That is in direct alignment with best practices for accreditation purposes. We're now going to talk about stakeholder input, interviews, and polls that we have participated in. As you see here, we interviewed, since we arrived on Sunday evening, 1 superintendent, 6 board members, 1 being excused for jury duty.
No cell phones allowed.
As a former social studies educator, thank you for your service. 51 administrators, that being principals, assistant principals, and district level administration. 77 teachers, 33 support staff, 43 parents, and 155 students, for a grand total of 366 interviews over the last 3.5 to 4 days. And through those interviews, these are our more formal findings. First, themes for recognition. With the establishment of the Student Advisory Council for both the superintendent and executive directors, the district has embodied the students' first vision. The district has utilized innovative ways to continuously communicate their purpose. With the establishment of the Student Advisory Council for both the superintendent and the executive directors, the district has embodied the student first vision. The district school improvement committee has a large group of stakeholders for all groups that guides the district through continuous improvement. The district has created and implemented leadership development opportunities for both teacher leaders and future administrators to nurture professional growth and provide an avenue for advancement. Current leaders are empowered with resources and actionable steps for improvement. The use of job-embedded professional development allows the opportunity for shared leadership among the stakeholders. Through the use of stakeholder surveys, leadership is given insight into the strength and areas for opportunity. Another theme for recognition is that the system has developed a comprehensive leadership program to nurture and develop staff for professional development. Evidence of this includes the in-house mentoring that is system-wide, and also that the teachers participate in district committees that give them a voice. An additional theme for recognition is that in extremely lean financial times, this district has successfully increased the fund balance from 5 to 15%. In this case, there has been a laser focus on the budget here in Dearborn, and it has paid off for you to have such a rainy day fund that really is not the case most anywhere else. To begin our themes for improvement, these are actions being recommended to us to the AdvancED Commission that Dearborn will be required to take action for within the next 2.5 years and satisfactorily meet those requirements for by AdvancED. The first is to develop and employ a program that provides each student with a designated adult or peer who will support each student in his or her courses, who will function as a single point of contact and advocate for student success. There are pockets of this type of opportunities here in Dearborn. We're calling for it to be systemic. An example is the wonderful program you have at high school where senior students mentor 9th grade students. There's also at the elementary level in some schools where we found that new students received peer mentors at their schools to help them assimilate and become part of the culture of the school and have that person to go to. The presence of the teacher-student relationship is evident throughout. You can leverage that with others within the district, again, including peers. The second theme for improvement is to enhance and modify a curriculum that is horizontally as well as vertically aligned to standards and includes high expectations with lesson plans and resources. We've had lots of conversations with most all stakeholders regarding the Dearborn deck. Even an opportunity for all of us to see it today. That is a very good start. It is a very good framework for curriculum resources. Teachers are currently, until that is built out, having to create a lot of curriculum resources on their own. We are calling for those curriculum to be built out and also be systemic, because even with the curriculum that's available through the deck, they have recommended resources that may or may not be available at particular schools, which calls for then the teachers and the schools to find something comparable if they do not have that exact resource to use. So over this time, we're looking for the district to become organized increasingly as part of continuous improvement around curriculum, and such that there is systemic curriculum throughout the elementary, middle, and high school programs. This theme for improvement is the expanding availability of existing programming options for all students in an equitable fashion. There are program options in place, and they have limitations as to the number of students that can participate in those programs. there are components of those programs that can become more systemic throughout the other schools. Not that they have to be replicated exactly and fully, but that they can become part of the program. The students were quite clear, as well as the parents, that they do like the quality of the programs that are in some of the special offerings to students, but yet they are unable to have their children participate because of the numbers. We're calling for the district to work to be able to bring components of those programs and plan to bring them in so that all students have an equitable opportunity to have similar educational experiences. And that brings us to our closure of this exit report. The process from here is that our team is finalizing a written report that will be submitted to your superintendent and school improvement office within a month. It then goes also to the AdvancED Commission that formally reviews it and makes the final determination for the renewal of your accreditation, which happens this spring. And then your district is notified by AdvancED of their decision. So with that said, again, a very, very heartfelt thank you to Dearborn Public Schools for your hospitality, for your hospitality here and in the schools, for making arrangements for us to be comfortable for those very long hours, as Dr. Maleko said, being in the schools all day and then working till 11 o'clock at night, going through lots of information in order for us to have these findings here that you have seen before us. I think it goes without much saying. You can see the in-depthness of information that we learned and used to deliberate as part of our work and our serious work in supporting your renewal for accreditation for the next 5 years. So with that said, I thank you very much for coming out. This presentation will be provided to the school district. And again, the report will also be provided in forthcoming weeks for you to decide to how to share as you find appropriate. Thank you very much.
We are adjourned.
Can I just make, I just wanted to make a comment. Thank you again. We appreciate the report and the data. We will share that. We'll get that. As soon as we get that, it'll be pumped out on our blogs. We want to make sure. We appreciate. Yeah. Well, actually, the links will be on Twitter. So, you know, we appreciate the recognition of the areas where we want to continue to grow and that we're strong and we're have leadership. We also appreciate the recommendations for improvement, and there's some, we're going to get on that, and there's some timeliness with our strategic plan that we can use that data. And so once we get the full report, we will definitely, with our strategic plan committee, be reviewing that. We're planning the plan is active until 2019. So what we're going to be doing is this May, we're going to be just doing kind of a renewal, a revision. And so we'll look at some of that information that you've provided to us. And then once we do the renewal of the plan after 2019, this report will be extremely helpful. So I thank all of you again, and I also want to thank everyone who participated. The board, I mentioned it, but the entire staff and parents. I saw a lot of parents there, students, and the faithful with the sign. He's always there. If I forget it, he's got it. And Board of Education, of course. And then honestly, I appreciate the recognition of the organization of the School Improvement Office. And let's give Ms. Farage and her team really, come on. I appreciate the intensity of what you've had to go through with travel and the late nights. And she explained it to me because she just did one of those reviews. She's trying to convince me to go on one next year and participate. So we'll kind of look at that. But again, thank you for your time and dedication. And we really take your recommendations to heart. And we thank you for the recognition as well.
We're adjourned.
Yep.
We're not.
He's quick.
Yeah, he's fast.
Yeah, I'm always on.
I would just like to say that I'm just really overwhelmed. I mean, first of all, I always tear up with the Maples Drum Group anyways, but I'm really proud of this district. I'm so proud of everything that's been presented. And I congratulate everybody who was involved. I believed that we would have results like this, but I want to remind all of us, and particularly us as board, that it's really timely because we'll sit in another few weeks, or actually in another week, and we'll be talking about major decisions that we have to make. So the whole topic on extending opportunities, it's just a reminder of things that a couple of us said just Monday night. So good news is always welcome, but then it's always a reminder of what more we can do and what things we have to keep on our mind for the future. So thank you. I feel really overwhelmed by everything and everybody, but I'm so proud.
I don't dare to hammer until anybody else? Adjourned.
All right, team.